Was Teofimo versus Jermaine Ortiz the robbery of the year so far? I would think so. And now Tim Bradley, Jermaine Ortiz, and Teofimo are reacting. Jermaine Ortiz said, "They seen me give him a boxing clinic and he couldn't touch me. He couldn't land not one of his big shots on me. He says he's going to go back to the drawing board, while Tim Bradley says the reason why Ortiz won the fight is because he controlled every aspect of the fight. He says he's the one that made the fight what it was. Look, a lot of punches weren't thrown and landed. I can probably count on both hands how many punches landed between the two, and I'm talking about effective punches. A lot of these rounds were judged." This is a quote from Tim Bradley. Pardon me if it sounds exactly like what I said on Champ's side. Let me continue. Tim Bradley says a lot of these rounds were judged on the second criterion of the scoring. It's called effective aggression. What does that mean? You think that you got to be aggressive coming on your front foot? No, you don't. You can be aggressive on your back foot, making the guy miss, making him pay with counters, and that's exactly what Ortiz did. It's called being the ring general. That is a quote from Tim Bradley. Doesn't that sound like what I said, people? Not only in my reaction, but my live after this, where people were saying you can't win on ring generalship alone. Oh, indeed you can. So let me continue. Bradley says there weren't a whole lot of punches thrown between Lopez and Ortiz, but there were more punches thrown than there was Shakur versus De Los Santos. You know, Shakur fought off his back foot a lot. Ortiz stood his ground in spots. Ortiz, even when Lopez was motioning him to the corner, said, "Okay, I'll come in the corner. I'll beat you up a little bit more, and I'll get back on my game plan." This is a quote still from Tim Bradley, who says, "You could see who had the strategy going into the fight from the first round. It was Ortiz. He was the ring general, the ring genius throughout the night. So if you can't score a round based on clean punches thrown, then you scored on who is the ring general. Let's go back to the De Los Santos fight. The ring general was Shakur. He was the ring general. He was fighting when he wanted to fight on his terms. The same thing was here. The problem was Jermaine's name isn't Sugar Ray Leonard. It's not Shakur Stevenson. It's not Floyd Mayweather. It's the fact that his name is Ortiz. That's what it is. He's not the house fighter. He's not bringing money and electricity to boxing. Guess who is? Lopez. And that's the reason why he got the decision. That's the only reason why he got the decision. We don't score fights on damage. That's MMA. You guys sound like you're scoring it on damage. You're talking about how Lopez didn't have a scratch on him. By the way, that's the end of Tim Bradley's quote on Pro Box TV. By the way, the scratch or cut that Jermaine had, it was from an intentional headbutt from Tio, right? So he didn't have a scratch on him either, if that's how they were judging it. But doesn't this sound exactly what I said, people? The four criteria of boxing: defense, ring generalship, clean and effective punching, and effective aggression. Again, effective, not ineffective. And I kept honing on the fact that that fight was fought on Jermaine Ortiz's terms, the way he wanted to fight, his style, and he dictated most of that fight. Tio did not do what he wanted to do. If he did what he wanted to do, then he would have had the fight that he wanted. That's not the fight that he wanted to fight. So Tio responded, and Tio said, basically he's talking about Keyshawn Davis, right? But basically what he said about the Ortiz fight just a few days later is he said they hate because I'm great. They hate because I'm great. So everybody out there knows that he beat that boy, apparently. If T.O. was great, he would have showed it in the ring that night. Like I said, he missed a lot of shots. He was winging shots. He was throwing a lot of power on shots. He was hitting the ropes. He fell down to the ground off balance because he was swinging so hard. He was falling over his feet. He was swaying from side to side, not really controlling his body. His balance wasn't great. I didn't think T.O. won. I thought Jermaine Ortiz won about at least 8 rounds. He let off the gas even more towards the end and left the door open. And that's not what you can do in a fight like that. all this stuff about you got to take it from the champ and he was running and all this stuff. Tio didn't do anything. He didn't cut the ring off. He didn't corral him. He didn't corner him. He didn't pin him down. He couldn't. He couldn't do any of that. Right. So I don't know why. How can you say Tio won based on what? He didn't outland Jermaine Ortiz. And if you go round by round, he didn't win more rounds. So again, thank you, Tim Bradley, for basically repeating everything I argue with people about on my live the day after and everything I said about this fight. He just validated everything I said. Ring generalship is the reason why Ortiz won that fight. The fight was fought in his style, on his terms, how he wanted to. He still outlanded uh, Lopez. So let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. I think it was the robbery of the year so far. And I definitely think Tio deserved to take his second loss. You don't just win the fight because you brought the belt to the ring. Man, get out of here. Or you got to take it from the champ. So the champ don't got to do nothing, huh? The champ could just sit there throwing a bunch of punches at the air and still win. I don't think so, bruh. Boxing, the art of hit, not get hit. Bud Crawford said the same thing, by the way. So more boxers, Shakur as well. So, but let me know what y'all think in the comments. It's the baddest brand in the land, Champ Side.